Chapter 3, The Journey Through Life, Adolescence, the Teenage Years. Adolescence can be quite stressful, as it is a time in life when we are desperately trying to find ourselves. We really need strong mentors to guide us through and help us to build stable foundations for our adult life, as the world around us can appear to be quite overwhelming. Being a middle child with middle child syndrome actually proved to work in my favour. I was forced to figure many things out for myself, as my parents always seemed to be preoccupied. The preteen years were a little bit daunting. Discovering that my parents seemed totally incompatible really complicated and clouded my view of the world, as they perceived everything from an entirely different viewpoint. In fact, they were complete opposites, both mentally and physically. My mother had black hair and brown eyes, and my father had blonde hair and blue eyes. My father was hardworking, sensitive, interested in politics, and loved poetry. He wanted us to do well at school, and if he recognised that we had a particular talent in any educational subject, then he tried his best to encourage this. My mother, on the other hand, was not exactly a workaholic, seemed cold and distant. She certainly had no interest in current affairs or literature. She loved to go out for meals or tea, and in the summer months, she sunbathed at every opportunity. She did not encourage us academically and would often say to me, "Put that book away, it will hurt your eyes." My mother was quite vain and needed to wear glasses, but refrained from doing so due to her self-image. I knew that my eyesight was not perfect and always opted, when possible, to sit in the front of the classroom at school so that I could read the blackboard. It was not until I started work that I realised how short-sighted I actually was. My medical examination for my first job flagged up my need to wear glasses. I think that growing up with parents who have conflicting viewpoints and priorities can confuse children, and there is no clear-cut guidance on which direction you should be taking in life. This aspect of confusion has remained with me throughout my adult life. I recently studied a school photograph and did not recognise myself, a conscientious pupil who enjoyed life to the full. In your teenage years, I think you're desperately trying to find yourself. Starting secondary school is such a daunting experience for everyone. New beginnings, new friendships, new subjects to learn, and discovering that life is maybe a little more complicated than you initially thought. I was educated at Dale High School in Motherwell, where our head teacher, Mr. Scobie, inspired us to follow the school motto, Summa Patenda, aim for the highest. At DL, I received a first-class education, and every pupil was given the opportunity to excel. Each year, we were encouraged to raise funds for the upkeep of Cleland Estate, owned by the school, and I proudly served on the cake and candy stall. The grounds at Cleland Estate were magnificent and included rugby, football and hockey pitches. We also had a 400-metre running track, and I loved to take part in the school sports day with discus throwing, javelin throwing, 100-metre sprint, relay race, high jump and long jump. I used to thoroughly enjoy cross-country running. For the less energetic, there was a well-stocked library on the premises. We also had changing facilities and showers. Wednesday afternoons were spent at Cleland Estate and some Saturday mornings to play hockey. I loved to learn new things, and I spent a lot of time at my local church, taking part in all sorts of activities. I was a brownie guide and ranger guide. Being part of these organisations really helped me by providing social skills, housekeeping skills, and a sense of honour and respect. Taking part in the Duke of Edinburgh's award scheme taught me many skills, such as flower arranging, public speaking, and organisations skills. The stable foundations built in these organisations have never left me to this day. Fond memories of camping at Netherard, badge work, such as hostess badge, observer's badge, and knitting badge, have all added to my life's tapestry. My childhood years were a blur of activities. Monday, elocution. Tuesday, brownies. Guides or ranger guides. Wednesday, swimming at Motherwell Baths. Thursday, God Squad. Friday, piano lessons. Saturday, hockey, followed by days away in the car. Sunday, Sunday school or youth fellowship, and horse riding at DL Estate in Motherwell. I remember at the age of 13 being in love with Donny Osmond. The Jackie magazine provided posters of him. The first week enclosed his legs, the next week his torso, and the third week his head. I diligently sellotaped the pieces together and proudly displayed these posters on my bedroom wall. At that time, I truly believed that I couldn't possibly be in love with anyone else. I remember with amusement the strong fashion statements of my teenage years. The feather-cut hairstyle, the tank tops, the bell-bottom trousers, American tan tights and platform shoes. I remember from high school being talked into going to the shops in Brandon Street, Motherwell at lunchtime, which was totally out of bounds for all pupils, by my friend Valerie. "We won't get caught," she assured me. "I've been doing it for weeks." Well, you can easily guess what happened. One of our teachers spotted us in Woolworths and we were reported to the head teacher. I will never forget the feeling of shame and humiliation for breaking the school rules. When I was 14, we went on our first family holiday abroad together to Campicafort in Mallorca. My mother spent every day sunbathing, whilst Dad encouraged us to speak Spanish and learn about the local cuisine and culture. The flight home was memorable, as my sister Moira and I had purchased large, standing, ornamental donkeys, which we had to hold all the way back on the flight. Feelings. When I was 16, I returned to school for 6th year with a heavy heart, as most of my friends left school at the end of 5th year. One person in particular left and took my heart with them, leaving me struggling to recover. He was my closest friend and always motivated me to try to achieve higher grades in all schoolwork, as he was so talented in every subject. In his company, the world was the most amazing place to be, and he filled my heart with joy. Losing my soulmate and idol left me feeling devastated. Perhaps I wasn't in love with Donny Osmond after all. The following song expresses my feelings of loss. Feelings. Nothing more than feelings. Trying to forget my feelings of love. Teardrops rolling down on my face, trying to forget my feelings of love. Feelings. For all my life I'm feeling. I wish I'd never met you. You'll never come again.